right here, right now, 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 right here, right
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Ian Jacklin. Mr. Ian Jacklin, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing great, doing great. How are you guys in New York?
Everything is great. It's actually getting cold here finally.
Yeah, here too. I can't lay out by the pool anymore.
No. We've covered those up, sir. We've covered those up.
Right on. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I got my good old friend and one of my spiritual gurus, Reverend Lynne, with us today. How you doing, Reverend Lynne?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very good, very good. It's so good to reconnect after all these years. A lot of my friends I brought to you, just so people know what Reverend Lynne does. She's an Essene, which Jesus Christ was an Essene. The Essenes wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls. They were the higher, sort of more evolved of the people back in the day, and always have been, sort of, from what I understand. And she teaches meditations, Essene meditations, and Course of Miracles, things like that. So we have a lot to talk about. This stuff all blew my mind because I was raised conventional style. My grandfather was the minister of the church. My father was the organist of the church. We were I can never say it. Episcopalian in America. Yeah. We call it Anglican in Canada. I've got nothing bad to say about church. My family were very open and let me believe whatever I wanted. They presented me with what they knew, and they were always open for me to find my own way. And I've studied most of the religions. And the one that I gravitate most to as far as spiritual connection goes is this one, the Essenes and Christ. I mean, Jesus Christ was the man. I don't care if you're a Christian or not. You got to admit, Jesus Christ was probably the coolest cat to ever hit Earth, other than maybe Santa Claus. But it's the same thing, kind of. But anyway,
same thing.
Yeah, let's try and not offend anyone. That's old school Jesus Bible thumper style, and at the same time, kind of give people something else to look for. The thing I liked about this meditation is that it's proactive. I never liked going to a church and just sitting there listening to hymns and praying and sermons. It wasn't proactive enough. Whereas when I came to your school, I learned that we can actually physically, mentally, emotionally do things, proact, that will stop us from self-sabotaging from whatever it is. So we got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Why don't we just start with you introducing yourself and how you got to where you are, where I come to you now for spiritual guidance. Give us your history. Thanks.
All right. Well, actually, as you said, I'm an Essene minister, and also and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Essenes in just a moment. But as an Essene minister, there are various things that I do, which include spiritual mentoring, clairvoyant and intuitive readings, as well as energy healing, and also I am known as the miracle maker. And I assist people in being able to create miracles in their lives from a very conscious way. So as an Essene, and for those of you that may not be familiar with the Essenes are a very ancient, very old community that was part of the Qumran area along the Dead Sea. And the Dead Sea Scrolls were actually written by the Essenes. So the Essenes were a mystical, if you will, spiritual community that was made up primarily of Jews, but there were also Muslims, there were Islamics, there were Buddhists, there were all different types of spiritual faiths and beliefs that whomever chose to learn more, to rise above whatever their particular teaching for greater enlightenment, they were able to join this community. So within the community, there were many things that were taught. There were many of the sciences, physics, geology, biology, chemistry, which is where you get alchemy from. There were just many, many, many different sciences, astronomy, astrology. as well as learning how to do other various things, such as they knew how to commune with the earth. So they were very big when it came to gardening, when it came to preparing the right foods and eating the right foods in order for the body to stay not only pure, but they recognized and understood that the physical body is a living organism. And so if you want to have healthy cell tissue, you eat living, healthy food, okay? They studied many different things, including crystals and the power and the vibration of crystals. And they also spoke to the spirit world, angels and spirit guides, ancestors, very much like you and I communicate and talk to each other. So the Essenes were very advanced from a spiritual standpoint, again, very enlightened. And most people did see them as the mystical sect. You know, they weren't quite sure what to make of them. Well, the Essenes that were the most popular, of course, besides Mary, Joseph, John the Baptist, his parents, Elizabeth and Isaiah, and also Jesus, of course, was the most famous Essene. Jesus is, I like to say, made the Lord's Prayer popular because it was written several hundred years before his birth even. So the Essenes are today still practice some of those same types of teachings that involve what we call now metaphysics, which is also known as quantum physics. We're really moving into that realm and that understanding, as well as teaching about nutrition, health of the body, how to basically continue to live and to live from a consciousness that is completely and totally engulfed in the state of being love and connecting with that love with all people and all things. So as an Essene today, there is what's called discernment. Most people would call that either psychic or intuitive. And by the way, everyone is. As an Essene, there is energy healing. Everything is energy, everything. And because all things are energy, then that means that we can shift and move and change energy in many different ways. So what you think is energy, what you feel is energy, your emotions are energy, what you see, what you touch, your body, the things around you, it's all forms of energy. And of course, we know that science has already proven this. Science has also proven that there's more space than there is matter. And in between matter are those cells, they're atomic particles, subatomic particles. The smallest measurement of matter so far are photons, which is actually matter at the speed of light, and so, or that is light. And so in between matter is energy. And that energy is part of what we know as the divine consciousness or God consciousness, universal consciousness, whatever name you'd like to use, that is indeed what's present. And the statement in the Bible that says we can do all things that Jesus did. Jesus, basically, he was talking to his people at the time. And he said, all things I do, you can do as well. And what that means is that we all have the ability to use our intuition. I don't know a single person on this planet who, before caller ID, would know who was calling before the phone, you know, when the phone rang. It's like before we heard or saw who it was, it's like, oh, that must be Shirley. Let me pick it up. We just intuitively were able to tune into so many things around us. And for many people, just the way that they made decisions, the things that they did, the way their life is able to flow is based on their intuition, whether they're conscious of it or not. So we all have those dynamic abilities. We all have the ability to utilize our mind as a way to shift energy. And so what that means is when we are able to think what it is that we desire, and we take that desire and we feel good about it, we start to feel excited and elated and joyful and just all of these fantastic feelings, then our heart is able to open up and the emotion of love begins to be expressed. And it is through this love that then the desire is actually manifested. Because you at that moment have a connection between mind, between feelings, between hearts. And because there's no such thing as time, past or future, whatever you desire, as soon as you have the alignment and your heart is open to love, you can manifest instantaneously because it's always in the present. Yes.
Yeah, I'm experiencing this myself in unreal proportions. For the first time in my life, I've cleansed my body physically. I've been on a blending, and this is what the Essenes did. They drank water, not wine. They were very into what they grew and meditation, cleaning everything out. And apparently, and I also was using cannabis hemp oil, which cleanses the pineal gland. And I told you this in our private conversation. I actually, believe it or not, folks, this happened. Spoke telepathically to a friend of mine recently, and I just couldn't believe it. He wasn't into talking about it when it was over, but it happened in the moment. I was like, I could have swore we were talking already, and like I did a million other times, that's bullshit. It's not true. It can't be real. But this time I'm open enough to it now, and I literally yelled from my third eye at him, "Can you hear me?" And he's like, "Yes, I can hear you." I'm like, what? It's like a little kid the first time you get on a walkie-talkie with somebody, you know? I freaked out. I thought, no way this is happening. But he wasn't into like figuring out where that went. But anyway,
Yeah.
and just to let you people know from what I hear, because now we're in the age of Aquarius, we left the dark ages December 21st, 2012, that this kind of thing is supposed to be happening. Our planet is now in a part of the solar system where we're in the light ages now. The light is here, and many more things like this may be happening. So don't freak out if it happens to you. We're supposed to be evolving at this time. Am I right about that, Reverend Lynne?
You're absolutely correct. This is a time where on a mass consciousness level, human beings are evolving. We are moving into what we call the upper chakras, okay? And for those of you that may not be familiar, there are 7 primary chakras along the spine, the first chakra being at the base of the spine, and then you work your way up to the 7th chakra, which is at the crown or on top of your head. And so we are evolving as a human race into those upper chakras of the 5th chakra, which is communication and expression of spirit, into the 6th chakra, which is clear seeing or the third eye, and the 7th chakra, which is the ability to know, and it's our direct connection to divine source and to all information, all universal information. So we are really moving and raising into those chakras, into those areas, and it's love that's able to actually magnify it. Did you know, by the way, that the heart is 5 times more powerful than the mind? And that what lies in your heart is actually what emanates in terms of your power and your energy field.
Right. For when people are doing the Course of Miracles or the Abraham thing or the secret thing, which I learned from you long before the secret, even before I think, it was the first one that I liked, the very first, oh no, it's not going to come to me. The very first, the book that everybody first read when in the early 90s, it'll come to me anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, well, I want to get back to the smallest size I think they found now is quanta. It's even smaller than quantums. But that, just to make your point, there's way more space than there is matter. And
Yeah.
in that unknown, somehow we're able to connect in a third eye, sixth sense sort of way. And our thoughts are energy, just like the wind. You see the wind blow those leaves in the tree. We know what's happening. Well, some of us are, I'm learning, and Reverend Lynne knows, and Cynthia knew, and a lot of our friends that are in it know that there's that out there, that sixth sense is out there, and they know how to tap into it. And I've experienced a little bit of it myself, and I think you're right. I think we all are that way. We just have so many disbeliefs about it. It's too hard to move forward.
Yes, well, there's a lot of what I call programming and conditioning that has convinced so many of us that it's at very young ages that what we're seeing or what we're feeling is not true. Even something as simple as a parent that may be feeling maybe a little sad about something. And the child, that 4 or 5 year old child, goes up to their mom or their dad and they say, you know, are you sad or are you unhappy? And the parent's like, oh no, I'm feeling great. Everything's wonderful. Well, the child in that moment has been invalidated as far as his feeling. He knows that there's something that's not quite right, that there is something that's wrong. But as soon as you say, oh no, everything's great, it's wonderful, don't worry about it, you know, let's go play with your blocks or whatever, that immediately begins to program that child in believing that what they are feeling or what they are intuiting is incorrect. It's invalid. And that's just a very easy and simple example. As you know, it happens in so many different ways, particularly with the imaginary friends and other such things that may take place that kids tap into because we're so open as small children, and then we are slowly told, taught, and through repetitious pattern shown that we can't trust our intuition. We can't trust that information. So we start to shut it down.
I know. Cynthia brought up something brilliant recently on the show. A lady was asking about her brother who has schizophrenia, and it's something that I'd always kind of thought and maybe known on a deeper level. But she said, "This is." I can't remember how she presented it, but basically said he's not schizophrenic. He's just really psychic, and that's the thing. That are schizophrenic, that are hearing voices, they're hearing voices, but they're listening. The ones that have problems are listening to the wrong ones. And I thought that was so well eloquently put by Cynthia.
Yeah.
I mean, so those people out there hearing voices, they're connected, folks, but they're probably listening to the dark voices. You want to speak about that?
Well, they are definitely connected. There are many different types of disincarnate spirits that are around us. And although they're not always able to be seen, some people do see them, but many people also hear them. And so by being open to it, you hear everything. The analogy is like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost. I don't know, for those of you that saw it, as soon as she actually allowed herself to open up, at first she was pretending it was a con. And then she actually heard Patrick Swayze's voice and went, oh, whoa, wait a minute. And then, of course, all the other spirits are like, she can actually hear us. So what happened? She was bombarded. And so for someone that does not know how to maintain a level of balance, for someone who has a lot of maybe fears or phobias, for someone who is really bombarded, that can be an extremely overwhelming situation. And some of the disincarnate spirits, just like those of us who have physical bodies, you know, not everyone is necessarily working to be closer to the light. Some people have a passion for murder or robbery or whatever they do. Well, there are disincarnate spirits that also have a passion for all different forms of expression. And so there are times when voices that are heard or disincarnate spirits that people hear, they may be very, very relentless in telling someone what to do or how to do it or whatever the case may be, because that's part of what they want as a way to feed them. They don't have physical bodies, so they get fed by being able to sometimes, shall we say, direct or confuse someone who does have a body.
Absolutely. And this is something for all you guys out there that have maybe fell in tough times and you fell into a whiskey bottle. These spirits, these negative spirits, love alcoholics and drug addicts and people that are just lost, because they can get into your body and stay there. And they are more than happy the fact that you like to sit there at the bar and drown your miseries and stuff too. and they'll keep you there forever. So there's another thing, if you have any addiction problems, you could have a negative entity affecting that. Because I got a Reiki healing done by a lady like yourself who's not just Reiki. Like, you're obviously just not Reiki. You know, you're connected to the light. So is she. When she was done the healing, she asked me if you felt anything, and I said no. And then all of a sudden I felt like this, like somebody was doing this, but there's a wall behind me. And I kept looking around. I'm like, what the hell? And I had a tight New York Yankees ball cap on, so I'll never forget it. And I felt something flip, 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 flip. And when it came out here, a black chip about that big, kind of like what you pop out of a VHS tape, fell out of my head. I swear to God, she saw this, so I don't think I'm crazy. And it fell on the floor and it disappeared. We both looked at each other like, what was that? I'm like, you're the psychic, you tell me. So she had to ask her teacher, and she said it was probably psychic plasma or some kind of negative energy, because I just gotten out of one of those dark places where I was going to dark, seedy locations and just nursing myself to death, basically. And I had snapped out of it, and I was getting myself healthy. I was listening to the Abraham tapes, and I was sweating and working out. And I got this Reiki thing, and a literal physical thing fell out of my head and disappeared. What do you say about something like that?
You know, I would say that it is obviously a form of energy. When a person is intoxicated, regardless of what form it takes, you know, whether it's drinking or pills or drugs or whatever, you do leave yourself more vulnerable for various types of energy to get into your space. Now, it doesn't always necessarily mean that there's a spirit that has come into your space, literally. Sometimes there is influences that these spirits can have standing several feet away, but because you're so open, they can still have an influence in terms of what you might do, or what you might say, or how you may behave. But one of the things that I think is really important for people to understand is that there is no energy, regardless of how, I don't use the words negative and positive, because all energy is just a form of expression. Some of it are forms of expression that you desire, and other energies are forms of expression you never really want to have expressed. But energy that is not for your best and highest good, okay? That energy can never, ever, ever get into your space or have an influence over you if you are at a vibration, if you are at a frequency and a vibration that is of the light. And when I talk about frequency vibration, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's like tuning into a frequency channel on your radio or your television or even your computer. And every form of energy vibrates. Some vibrates a little slower, some a little faster. You know, they vibrate in different ways. So if you are vibrating in a pattern that is really, really high energy and close to, and very close to the light, or to what I like to call the God head, then an energy that would have you cuss somebody out, beat somebody up, stay in a pattern of always, you know, getting drunk or not showing up on time to work, or whatever the case may be, those kinds of energies would never be able to take over your space or even get close enough to do anything, because you would be at a whole different vibration. Understand what I'm saying? Which is why meditation is so important. That's why meditation is really, really important.
Yeah, and I've noticed lately, since I've been meditating more and cleansing physically and stuff, that I experience almost constantly, not quite, but quite a bit, love, constant love. Like, and it's weird because it's almost like I'm all giddy and in love, and I want to tell somebody about my new girl, but I don't have a new girl. I'm in love with my
with yourself.
My being here. Yeah, it's hard for me to say I'm in love with myself, but I'm in love with being allowed to be in this body and being on this earth at this time. I mean, I really learned to appreciate things and have some gratitude. And I think I lost it there for a while. I think I got a little high and mighty in my kickboxing days and my Karate Man days with the movies and stuff. And then when that didn't happen and I had to go back to being a regular person working at a bar or digging ditches, it really hit me on top of some other things. So, but in my wisdom, as it gracefully came to me, it's like I'm just nonstop so happy. I kind of want to just start screaming out and yelling to people, you know, and singing and stuff. But I
And
try and
it's
keep
okay. You
it's
can
so
do that. You can sing in the rain or the
yeah.
sunshine.
I'll tell you, I haven't sang in the rain, and the last time I sang in the rain was because of a girl. This time I'm singing in the rain because of, you know, life, God. So that's it.
Yeah.
And that's where you all want to get to. All you young guys out there, you want to get to that spot where no woman, no anything, no job, nothing can ever affect you. You want to get that vibration Reverend Lynn's talking about. And once you get it, they can't, the outside forces can't really get you if you stay on that level.
That's true. That's very true. And so, again, which is why meditation is so important. Even from, I everything that I talk about spiritually, I also reference in terms of science because science is moving into a wonderful, wonderful space of validating so many things that spiritualists, and particularly the Eastern philosophies, the Essenes and others, have known for years.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't necessarily believe it or they didn't think it was true. Well, now science is literally able to validate it through experiments, through sensitive instrumentation that they use. Because when we meditate, the brain waves and brain patterns are completely altered. And they're altered in such a way that one of the things that has been proven most recently is that when you have a thought about anything, and then you have the feeling that goes with it, it is already done and experienced. When you experience it in here, when you experience it in here, it must show up externally. And that's because, again, the heart is a giant magnet. So what it is that you love right here, right now, is what shows up in your experience. And no matter what, if you have a thought that may lean toward lack or fear, if you are then experiencing feelings of depression or apathy or jealousy or, any, again, of the lower vibrational type of feelings, then what is going to emit from your heart as far as an emotion is going to be fear. And what happens, you magnetize or call to you that which you fear. So as soon as you begin a process of keeping your mind focused on what you truly desire, thinking about what you choose to experience in this moment, and then feel the exhilaration of that. And as you were just saying, Ian, experience the love of that. Then you are able to actually call that into your realm or into your own personal reality.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't wait till being in this situation now. I can't wait till I do meet the right girl and I'm able to give her this pure kind of love. There's no neediness. There's no like, I need you to make me whole. It's like, what do you think? You like it?
Yeah.
I worked a lot on this and this, so I hope you like it. So let's rock and roll. Let's make some kids. I'm a little
Yes.
bit on that schedule. Yeah. Did I
Yes.
say
No,
that?
it's
Sorry.
that's exactly it. Because you are so in love with yourself and in love with life right now, because you are thinking life mate, joyousness, excitement, companionship, and you are in love with that, you are attracting her as we speak.
Right.
In
And
fact, she might be listening to the show right now.
hey
You
baby, where
never
you
know.
been? Where you been? I got some dishes back there. Just kidding. Just I hope you didn't hear that. Anyway, well, yeah, I mean, so it's going great. And I want everybody else to experience it too. And what we want to do with this show too is do this 30-day miracle thing. You got it. This is free, folks. I'm going to do it. And if anybody else wants to do it, get on my Facebook or sign into the wherever this is written down, in the Facebook events. And for 30 days, we can practice this together. I'm going to do it too. Meditation kind of thing. And I know it works because I've done it before. And right
Oh,
now I'm looking at something that says, "What are you manifesting?" It was I think a tattoo that you rub on somebody's arm, but I put it on my computer because I realized so many times in the day I'll catch myself on a like I used to be real negative. I used to be hard on myself. That's how, I became a champion kickboxer for a reason. I had to learn to believe in myself. And so, but even to this day, I'll have negative thoughts happening, but I catch them because of what you said. If you think of it too long, it may happen. So I catch them. I see a light just sort of, we used to be a video game we played where you could hit the button and it just bombed the whole screen and cleared everything out. So I just feel that in my head and my heart. Anytime negative things in my head, I just zap it out, white light, and I think that's for another movie, not mine.
yes.
Right?
So that's very true. Now
Because you want,
the 30-day creating miracle plan is one that is a series of exercises that are only about 10 to 15 minutes a day. But as you work the exercises, you will begin to notice a shift in the way that you think, in the way that you feel. You'll be able to notice even some of those energies, such as thoughts or belief systems, habit patterns, things that you've heard and experienced in your life. Even those will start to come to your awareness that may be against what your desire is. And there's something that you can do about that too, because on an unconscious level, we do have various experiences that may have happened when we were 5 years old or 15 or, at whatever age, at whatever time, whatever the experience. And if those experiences are going or moving against what we desire, as you do these exercises, as you get clearer about what you do choose to create, and as you begin the process of creating them, you're going to notice some other, what I call really lower vibrational energy start to surface. When that happens, the first thing you want to do is give thanks for it. You have to be in gratitude. Do not resist anything, because everything is an absolute lesson for you to learn from, for you to correct from, and then move forward. So if you have a thought, something like, "Oh God, I don't have any money. I'm broke. I really wish I had some more money." That is a belief system and a thought around lack. And if what you're choosing or your desire to manifest is to get a big raise at your job or to manifest a lot more money, that belief system goes against that desire. You see what I'm saying? But instead of going, "Oh, I shouldn't think that. I can't think it. I have to do something different." That's resistance to the to that energy, to that lack energy. And when you resist it, you immediately open into an emotion of fear. And when you go into fear, you're going to attract more of that lack. So the best thing to do is give thanks. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing me where I still have this belief system, where I am not moving in a consciousness of my true desire. I appreciate you for that, and now you may exit. Like, you know? So
really,
that's,
really, I deal with so many cancer patients, and one thing I can tell where their head's at. The ones that are grateful, even if they don't believe a word you're saying and they're never going to use you again, they're grateful you took time to talk to them. And the other ones who need it the most are usually not so grateful and cut up everything you have to say, even though you're giving them proof after proof. So I've learned to deal with that. That's an interesting thing. And somebody that is grateful, they are on, talk about high vibration, the levels of vibration of human beings. Somebody that gets that is high vibration.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, the 30-day miracle plan will help you to raise that vibration and move into that consciousness. Now, I do want to share with your audience as well that for everyone who is part of your audience in Zen Live TV, if you sign up for the 30-day Creating Miracle Plan, then once a week we can all get together on a conference call for an hour, and you can all ask me personally different questions that you have. You can share your experiences, and I'll also be sharing some additional information and feedback based on where you are. So for everybody listening, if you sign up, then we will have a conference call once a week for 4 weeks, and we'll have a chance. You'll get a chance to really hone in on what your heart's desire is, and being able to consciously create that for yourself very quickly.
Wow, what an offer that is, folks. You don't have no idea. I mean, she's like $150 an hour counselor that movie stars come after. So for her to give us free time like that, that's awesome. And just, you know, she has a ton of services. She does angel readings. She can be just a friend, shoot the breeze with, because they got that whole psychic thing too, so they can help with problems. My one good friend, Julianne, and she still thanks you to this day, if she didn't come see you, we used to do energy healings once a week, Tuesday night. So you go in, and Reverend Lynne does this. She closes her eyes, she looks at you, she sees your aura and your chakras, and she'll sit there and clean things out and cut cords off that people have attached to you and stuff, so you can free up. And then you can ask questions. And anyway, Reverend Lynne saw that my friend had a baby growing in her tube. Had she not gone to the doctor and verified that, she probably could have died from something like that. That's just one of the many stories. So this is a really good opportunity. Thanks for offering it to me and my friends. So hopefully a few people will join up. And you'll see how this works. Now, the key point that I learned, you can't use this to manifest things. You have to use this, like Reverend Lynne says, it has to be the heart. This is the energy. So you can think it here, and if you send it out to the universe here, you tried that secret stuff and it never worked for you, you'll get the opposite sometimes, because the way our brains are wired, negatively, positively, you'll get the opposite of what you want if you're all up here. You have to really think it and feel it from here. And I think that's why I've been manifesting things, you know, left, right, and center since I learned that. Of course, I come from a pure place of light. You know, you can't be manifesting, you know, hookers and lottery winnings, I don't think.
Well, no, you can. You know what? Energy does not know positive or negative. If that's a person's true desire, yes, they can manifest those things too. And that's also part of it, is that in the manifestation process, you cannot have any judgment about your own desires. You know, and so sometimes a judgment can be, I'd really like to have that Ferrari. And a judgment that may come up is, oh, you know you can't afford that. Or you know that you're not the kind of person that's sporty like that. Or, you know, only this kind of person drives that kind of car. That's a judgment that you may have against yourself, or a judgment that you may feel someone else would have against you. So those are also some of the things through the 30-day miracle plan that are important for you to shift and turn around and clear, so that you can just be in a place of, you know what, I desire a Ferrari because I desire a Ferrari. It is totally okay for me to have that. I choose to have it. I love having it. I love being in it. It's phenomenal. And you feel yourself experiencing it, then you're able to really bring it to you.
Right, I see what you're saying. Whereas some people may think you're selfish for wanting something like that. You're as valid in asking for that as anything else. What your heart desires, you deserve good things like Ferraris and stuff. You know, personally, I would start a little smaller and draw less attention to you, because you'll probably get carjacked. But you know what I'm saying.
Well, we'll make sure that Ferrari is in a nice, safe garage with lots of security.
Yeah, lots of security. Well, that's great. So we'll get on this. We'll do this. People sign up. Go to my iCureCancer email, my Facebook, whatever, and everybody that was a part of this tonight, we'll start a little group, and we'll see what we can manifest for ourselves over the next month. I know what I need to do as far as my production company goes, and I got people out there with cancer. This would be perfect. If you got cancer, you manifest. Let's talk about that. How can they use it for healing their sickness?
Well, again, everything is about, first of all, being able to have a clear intention. So it's having the thought, and it's having the awareness of being and extremely healthy, no cancer. Then it's feeling, it's really allowing yourself, and through meditation, I just can't stress that enough, it's absolutely changing your brainwave pattern so that your body, it feels the experience of being healthy and being without cancer and being whole. And so as you feel that, and as you feel that, and as you think that, and as you envision that, and as you intend your health, you love it. It just, you don't even have to try to love it. Your heart will automatically move into a vibration of love. And the more you resonate with that every single day, the cancer can absolutely change. It will absolutely leave. Now, some people are accustomed to practicing these techniques, and they've practiced them and practiced them to the extent where, again, they manifest right here, right now. Because when you're in the present with the thought and the feeling, energy doesn't know about the past and it doesn't know about the future. If you find it seems to take a long time or it doesn't work, it's only because there are some decisions, some belief systems, different types of programming and conditioning that you have experienced that tell you it's not possible. So what I propose are certain tools and certain things you can do to eliminate and to transmute those belief systems and those patterns that say, well, that's impossible, or that's too hard, or the doctor says, or this isn't supposed to be this way, or whatever the reason is. Those are, again, energies that aren't necessarily negative energies, but they aren't in alignment with what you're desiring. So there is a way to clear those energies, and it's really a form of integration in such a way that you become neutral. And that doesn't mean you don't feel, it just means that you don't have any kind of a charge on the cancer. And you can just simply love being in the experience of being healthy and living your life fully. And when you are in that experience, that's when it happens. It's no different than, Ian, you are a spirit in a male body. I'm a spirit in a female body. I don't walk around all day thinking, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. You don't walk around all day going, well, I'm a man, I'm a man. You just are a man. You go about doing what you do, right? You're not giving any emphasis to yourself being a man or, one way or another. Just like you don't think about, I'm breathing air, I'm breathing air. Oh, I better not stop breathing. I have to breathe air. I need more air. You don't think that. You're just breathing air. Well, when you are that neutral and when you can be in that consciousness with cancer or whatever it is that you choose to and desire to experience, that will be your experience. And so it's really quite a simple process. It is a 5-step process, if you will, over the 30 days that will start you on your way. Now, I'm not going to promise at the end of 30 days you'll have a miracle. Some people have absolutely gotten their desire at the end of 30 days. Some people have gotten other desires that they've had that they didn't even start off with before the 30 days was over, and then they got what they desired at the end of 30 days. Some people, it may take a little bit longer. We are all in different places along our path of enlightenment. And so what this will do, though, is it will really start to shift your thinking, shift your feeling, and shift the emotion from fear into love so that you can begin to really embrace a life and love a life that you would like to have. I want to let people know as well, if they can also go to centeroflightmiracles.org. So you can go to Ian's site at iCureCancer, or you can go to, or I should say, and you can go to centeroflightmiracles.org. And on centeroflightmiracles.org, at the very top of the home page is a banner that says, try the free 30-day miracle plan.
Right. Yeah, and I'll make sure I post that on my Facebook event as well. And so this is a perfect opportunity to check it out for free, to see what Cynthia and I have always been talking about for years, and I've had Reverend Lynn on a couple of my different shows. There's method to this madness, folks, is all I can say. And the way Cynthia got me to learn it, she said, if nothing else, the thought process of the meditation is stimulating your electrical circuits in your brain, and it's good. You're building brain cells, if nothing else. If it's all a bunch of hogwash, who cares? But I'll tell you what, every single person that's been cured of cancer by chemo, radiation, or surgery, to me, that's placebo effect, because there's a 3% success rate for chemo on tumor type cancers. So if you cured yourself of cancer using chemo, it was probably your brain that did it. And these are proactive ways, again, instead of sitting in Sunday school and singing Jesus loves me, which to me, you already know that, you actually can use these meditations you learn on how to bring good things to you, how to protect you from bad things. And again, if nothing else, it's stimulating your mind. The thing I wanted to bring up about the Dead Sea Scrolls, the whole quantum physics thing, and the reason why, see, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the most important thing in that book, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that that it had reincarnation in it. It talks about reincarnation. Dead Sea Scrolls are books that were conveniently left out of the Bible that speak about things like reincarnation, because the church didn't want you to know that you have eternal life already. You don't need the church, you don't need the Pope, you don't need any. You have eternal life already, and that was in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And those kind of people, the Essenes, were just like that. I mean, they just knew, again, water instead of wine, and meditated and understood. And so these are from then. These meditations are from back then, before Christ. I mean, it's amazing, this stuff. So this is an opportunity to try it out, folks, for free. And if you like it, cool. It'll definitely help you out. I know it helped me out. And so good. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say that Jesus, again, was the most popular Essene, and really did make spirituality popular. But, you know, part of the reason why the church did not want so many of those writings and scriptures included in the Bible, first of all, the Bible would be, you know, like huge,
Right.
even bigger than that, but with at least, you know, 150 volumes. But beyond that, back in the day, the church was also the state. And so it was always about the state or the government being able to have control over people. And what they saw is that people were beginning to believe in the one source, the one God. And so if this is what people are believing, rather than punish them for believing that and going that way, let's just jump on that bandwagon and use that as a way to keep people within the confines of the government and under this power. And Constantinople was the one who really started part of that movement. So that's the reason why the church left many things out of the writings, that they felt if people knew about it, the church would not have control. Really, it was about the government would not have control. So that's why it was formed in that way. But, you know, I would love, as my experience, to be able to read many of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Of course, we know that they are spread out throughout the world. Various different religious and spiritual sects have the Dead Sea Scrolls. They're not in one place anymore. And so, and of course, they're very old. They're very fragile. I don't know what's been interpreted. And I don't even know if the interpretations would be true to what was actually said, because it was written in a language that's now a dead language. Nevertheless, it would be wonderful to have an idea of many of the scrolls, what was really told and what was taught. Now, the Essenes, again, they were a people who were scientists, who were open people of love. And I've always seen Jesus as a master teacher. When the Jews, you know, from the time of Adam, they wanted to really create what's considered a superhuman. They wanted to create someone who was so huge and so divine that this person would be able to lift or uplift their faith and their people. And so that's why the Bible starts from Adam. Now, Adam actually is a name for the Adamic race. And the Adamic race was a period like Neanderthal and so forth when man was on this earth. But it did not start, this world did not start with the Adamic race. Man was long before the Adamic race. But that's where the Jewish story begins, where it goes from Adam to Abraham, from Abraham to David, from David to Mary, and then Mary had Jesus. And this superhuman was to be a man who would be able to embody the full essence and spirit of one who was truly enlightened and like God. That was their intention. And they knew, because of their wonderful study of science and so forth, they knew very clearly that based on the alignment of the stars and based on the time period, that he would soon be born. Now, do you know that when Mary was born, Mary was one of 3 girls that they believed could have been the superhuman as Jesus. And then they quickly realized that it wasn't one of those girls, but that one of those 3 girls would have that child. And they pinpointed it to Mary being the one who would have that child. And so it was very nicely orchestrated in such a way for her to become impregnated, and so that she was able to have Jesus. And there were certain men who were selected to impregnate her, and then they narrowed it down to 1, because that particular person with Mary, they knew, again, they were very advanced, smart people. They knew that they would create this wonderful, if you will, superhuman. In the translation where it says the Virgin Mary, virgins during the Essene time was not someone who did not have sex. A virgin was someone who had remained pure in her body and in her spirit. She did not eat certain foods. She did not do certain things. There was a level of education and a level of training she received to keep her heart, her intuition, her everything very, very open. And so she wasn't a virgin as in no sex. She was a virgin in that women in the Essenes prepared their wombs and prepared their bodies in a very specific way to have their children so they could have high vibrational children. In the translation, it came down to virgin. Virgin was translated and turned into a woman who had no sex, but that wasn't actually true.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that story before. Yeah, there's a lot deeper. There's way more to the story than what the basic church will tell you. That's for sure. Once you do some reading.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Here's some proof for people that we were talking about as far as quantum physics goes and all that. There's a guy named Greg Brannon, amazing speaker, guru kind of guy. He's got on tape in one of his lectures. Now, of course, I have to just believe that this is true. I suppose somebody could have went through a lot of work to make trick photography. But basically, these 3 Chinese doctors chanted cancer out of a person's body with video cameras on the cancer in their body live. As they were chanting, you could see the tumor disappear. I'm just going to believe that this was a scientific experiment and true, and there's no hogwash going on in there.
Well, it would make sense. Go ahead. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, they did it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they did it. So, and the quantum physics, I don't know the science behind it, but somehow it does show how you can dissipate tumors.
Well, yes.
Mind.
Well, okay, going back to the fact that matter has more space than it does matter. So a tumor is nothing more than a collection of cells that are forms of matter. In between that matter is more space and more energy. Every energy has a vibration. When you sing, when you speak, when you play an instrument, any form of sound has a vibration. And if you know the right vibration that has the frequency to be able to break up matter, then it will dissipate and it can be reabsorbed into the body.
Right, Doctor.
So
Doctor Wright.
So it makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Doctor Royal Raymond Wright invented a machine that sent out specific frequencies that he found for cancer cells, and it worked. He was curing everybody, and of course they buried the information, as they always do anything that works. But hey, once you learn this, folks, what are they going to do? They can't take it away from you. It's all up here.
Yes, that's true. It is. It is. And in all honesty, even with where medicine is today, with what doctors are doing, with what pharmaceutical companies are doing, and so forth, we do also want to just give honor to them because they have assisted in a process of helping some people through that medium and form of expression to become healed. They have also brought some other people who choose a different form of expression to become more aware as a way to become also more enlightened. So either way, we want to just honor the fact that they have played an important role and an important part in the process of healing cancer, whether it's to raise your consciousness into enlightenment so that you heal it in other ways, or whether you utilize their methods. Either way, you can benefit and get a healing from it.
Yeah, that's for gratitude. We have to have gratitude, even
Absolutely.
for big pharma. And I'm glad you flipped a switch for me, because I'm always anti-big pharma, and I'm a bit of a fighter, bit of a scrapper, and I get a little angry sometimes. But you're right. We have to be. I got to thank big pharma for teaching me this, because if it wasn't for them doing it wrong for so long, I would have not figured out what was right. So thank you, big pharma.
That is the scrapper in you.
Yeah, that was a little vibrational. Sorry about that.
No judgment. It is what it is. It was just a form of expression.
Yeah. But I love that. I'm glad you turned that around. We have to be in gratitude for them.
Yeah.
That is such a release. For health in general, man. When I lost my attitude that, God or the universe is against me, and when I finally just started realizing that I am against me, and then I let that go, and it was okay.
Absolutely. Well, I want to let people know again, they can get in touch with me through your Facebook, through your site, iCureCancer, and also through my site, centeroflightmiracles.org, O-R-G.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys want to jump in this bandwagon with me, I'll do it. We'll do it for a month, and we get to talk once a week for 4 weeks. And we'll see what happens with that. So again, thanks for that offer. That was very kind of you.
You're welcome. And it will be announced for everyone who signs up. You will receive an email, and it will be announced the date, the evening, and time. It will be the same day and the same time every week. And if you can't be on the call, you may email your questions. They'll be answered on the call, and you can listen to the replay. You'll have a week to listen to the replay as well. So don't feel like you'll miss out if it's on a day or a time that you can't listen to it.
Yeah, and this will be just a good way for you to get your feet wet and see what I'm talking about. And you'll see it works. I mean, like I said, I never took one person to Reverend Lynne that didn't just get their mind blown with the things that they learned there. So we'll all get together and do that. I'm trying to think if is there anything else we're missing? We've got about 1 minute. I think we're good.
I feel complete unless there's something else that you...
No, I think Cynthia helped me realize one day recently that helped. We need contrast, because I'm wondering, why can't there just be light? Why has it got to be yin and yang, dark and light? Why can't it just be light? And she says, well, I guess we need contrast. Would you be able to end us on a note like that?
Well, yes, I would say that it is important for us to have contrast, and because that's how we're able to move into those higher levels of enlightenment and start to become aware. Everything is a teaching tool. Everything is an opportunity for us to grow and to learn, and to always remember that we can be in a place of love.
Right on. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. I don't know. I think that's closure. Right on. Thank you so much, Reverend Lynne. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you. It was great being on.
Yeah, right on. Okay, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and come join us, and we'll make some miracles. Peace.
Bye.
Right here, right now, right here, right now.